Aspiring pilots and aviation aficionados gathered at the Hawaii Aviation Expo at the Blaisdell today. The Aloha Chapter 99s and Hawaiian Airlines hosted the community-led event, which hopes to grow Hawaii's aviation community. The whole range of flyers enjoyed events like an intro to flight training and an interview and resume workshop with Hawaiian Airlines.
We do have a lot of young people here who are interested or here with their parents, but we also have a lot of people in suits walking around with their resumes trying to get some jobs.
So I thought it'd be a great opportunity to network and find some good opportunities to become a pilot. I think anybody who may have a slight interest in aviation should definitely come down. You never really know what you're looking for, but there could be something here for you that you never knew that you needed.
This was the first time at the Blaisdell for the annual Aviation Expo, which has previously been held at the Daniel K. Inouye International Airport. All ticket sale proceeds go toward flight training scholarships for women in Hawaii.